Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu bkhair agale ni hao chunushumme washmale. Wahai Gonzaimas, guten Morgen, hola, bonjour, privet, kaifa hal? Hale shumachatore, ahlan wa sahlan marhaba. Buna mucho gracias. Swabi balli kare aaya. Wahai Gonzaimas, guten Morgen, hola, bonjour, privet. Ladies and gentlemen, with all of these hellos and highs, the only thing that I would want to say to each and every one of you is that we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you guys are ecstatic about today. It's a fine Thursday morning over in Islamabad and that you guys are ready to listen to what World This Morning has to bring for you. But me, I happen to be Shahzad Khan, and with me I'm really lucky I've been joined by my wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss Eesha Rehan, which is why I'm going to ask her first. Hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam Shahzad. As always, I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. The sun is shining and we are here. The week flew by so fast. I cannot even imagine that it's Thursday and tomorrow is going to be Friday and then the week will end and then a new week will begin. But yes, you know, I honestly love coming to work because of the energy that you have and the team has, and it's always great.
Exactly, which is why we feel ecstatic over here, but we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. You know, I don't feel like saying it every day, so I think I'm going to change it now. You know, there's certain stories that Eesha has brought for us today, and they're certain that I'm going to build up on. So, ladies and gentlemen, moving on towards the highlights, whether what sort of a treat you are in today and what we will be covering in World This Morning. So, get started with, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Donald Trump warns Narendra Modi against escalation with Pakistan, and the United States President Trump says that he spoke to Modi about having no wars with Pakistan. The US President has repeatedly claimed credit for ending the conflict between India earlier this year in May. India has denied the claim that the US President was responsible for brokering the ceasefire via trade threats, but our Honorable Prime Minister Shahbaz praises the United States President Mr. Donald Trump for the ceasefire as well. We will be building up on that. But on the other hand, you know, I'm going to switch from one country to another country where for the very first time, Eesha, you know, a lady prime minister has emerged, and that's exactly something that we will be building up on, where Japan's parliament has elected ultra-conservative Sanae Takaichi as the nation's first female prime minister, a protege of the assassinated former prime minister Shinzo Abe. Takaichi received 237 votes in the 465-seat lower house of parliament on Tuesday. Her victory follows a last-minute coalition deal by her Liberal Democratic Party with right-wing Japan Innovation Party, also known as ISHIN.
I feel like this is a big win for all the women in the world, seeing women come in power and bringing their ideas and viewpoints, and hopefully we will see more women prime ministers across the world. But I think we need to dive into our sports segment, which is very, very thrilling and exciting. It was a roller coaster of a day for Test cricket in Rawalpindi, and our men in green were definitely tested. They fought hard to stay in the game. Debutant Asif Afridi gave us plenty to cheer for, taking 6 wickets and making history as the oldest Pakistani to claim 5-wicket haul on his debut. His Sajda celebration was a proud moment for every fan watching, while South Africa's tail end fight back gave them a surprise lead. Our captain Babar Azam once again rose to the occasion, batting with calmness and control to keep Pakistan's hope alive. And you know, Rawalpindi and Islamabad are engulfed in a chilly spell, but cricket is definitely on fire.
Exactly. While we speak of it, ladies and gentlemen, Babar Azam has actually walked back to the dugout. He scored a 50, and it's a 50 which comes after his 2022 century. I think it was against New Zealand, if I'm not wrong. So we will build up on that, but there's something other than that which Eesha would want to kind of talk about. I don't know whether it's the circadian rhythm. That's what we're talking about.
It's such a fascinating concept that I'm learning about for the first time. It is about how our body's internal clock is evolving and keeping things in check. Our circadian rhythm works hand in hand with our autonomic nervous system, the part of our body which controls involuntary functions such as heartbeat, digestion, hormones, and when this rhythm decides when we will go to sleep, eat our food and digest it, as well as the repairment of cells. So I think this answers the question of maybe one day you wake up and you feel truly energized, and then some days you wake up and you have no energy at all. We will be exploring why this happens with an expert.
Exactly, and ladies and gentlemen, to do that, we will certainly have guests joining us as well and experts as well. At this point of time, the rhythm of my life tells me that we need to head out towards a short break, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. We are World This Morning. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. And as we said that in the first part of the program, we will be talking about how the United States President Trump says he spoke to Modi about having no wars with Pakistan. Let's hear it from the POTUS, the President of the United States, what he has to say, and then we'll build up on that further. Let's go. Let's take a good listen.
I just spoke to your Prime Minister today. We had a great conversation. We talk about trade, we talk about a lot of things, but mostly the world of trade. He's very interested in that. Although we did talk a little while ago about let's have no wars with Pakistan. And I think the fact that trade was involved, I was able to talk about that. And we have no war with Pakistan and India, and that was a very, very good thing.
And certainly our Honorable Prime Minister Mia Mohammed Shahbaz Sharif has actually praised or applauded the efforts of the United States President as well. To build up further on that, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we have been joined by a former ambassador, happens to be Mr. MASOOD Khalid. Hello sir, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you feeling today?
Assalamu alaikum ji, thank you very much for inviting me.
Sir, thank you so much for your time. So let's get started with it. You know, this statement that came out just yesterday, or probably I think it was the day before yesterday, where it was Diwali celebration, and on that occasion, how the POTUS has actually spoken about that, that I spoke to Narendra Modi over the phone and said that there should not be any war against Pakistan or with Pakistan. What do you have to say about this statement?
Well, I think it's a good statement that way, and President Trump has been consistent in advocating peace between India and Pakistan since, the conflict broke out between the two countries in May this year. But I must point out that there has been a change in the world's opinion about Pakistan after we proved our mettle on the ground with India. Before that, there was a lot of propaganda and misinformation about Pakistan's vulnerabilities, that Pakistan is, facing its own challenges, problems, is weak, and there were question marks about its ability to defend itself. Well, I think that, thinking, that perception about Pakistan underwent a drastic change after this conflict. And you would recall that when this conflict broke out, President Trump was indifferent, and he said, "Well, let the two countries sort it out themselves." And then, as the thing progressed, and Pakistan shot down about 7 Indian planes and retaliated strongly. That changed the thinking in Washington and other important capitals of the world. And then these countries realized that Pakistan cannot be taken lightly. So since then, we have seen that President Trump has claimed, credit for, the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, and telling that, trade is his, favorite word. Trade
Masood sir, that's exactly what I would want to build upon. Now, imagine that the United States President has repeatedly claimed credit for ending the conflict between India and Pakistan earlier this year in May. But what happens is that India has denied the claim that the US President was responsible for breaking the ceasefire via trade threats. Do you see any authenticity in India denying the fact that over a trade threat, this deal was brokered?
Actually, India's denial of US assistance in brokering the ceasefire has annoyed Washington a great deal. And this trade sanctions on India, a 50% tariff, etc., is also a reaction to India's position which Prime Minister Modi has taken. But let me explain a bit, because you have to understand the Prime Minister Modi's psyche. And the psyche is that by not accepting the role of President Trump or the US administration in the ceasefire, what India is trying to do is to keep itself away as much as possible from being entangled in a situation where President Trump gets more proactive in trying to, offer his good offices for resolving the disputes between India and Pakistan. So India does not want to give that kind of room to Washington. So we have to understand this. And although India knows that its relationship with United States is valuable, is very important in the context of China's containment strategy, etc., and because of India's own requirements for technological upgradation of its economy, etc., India is not prepared to accept any outside, mediation or good offices in dealing with Pakistan-India disputes. So that is the strategy. That is why, although in the process,
Exactly. Exactly, Masood Saab, at this point of time, because I think it's our sole responsibility to bring the truth right in front of the world as well. And just on the lines of what you have actually spoken and shared with our audiences, India's opposition slams Narendra Modi for hiding facts about his telephonic conversation with US President Donald Trump, with Congress party saying it was fourth time in 6 days that US President announced India's foreign policy in Washington. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Congress Secretary General Jaram Ramesh said Modi has finally acknowledged publicly that President Trump called him up and that the two spoke to each other. So their conversations are even being hidden, and he's not being really honest about what have been spoken on the phone as well. What do we make of it? If we are to speak about a democracy which they claim that is the largest democracy where there's no truth prevailing, what do you make of a nation and a leader of such a nation?
Well, I think a lot of new fault lines have developed in recent years because of BJP's rule in India and Prime Minister Modi's policies of, alienating minorities, Muslims, alienating Kashmiris, and, alienating his own opposition. And of course, Operation Sindoor, this was a great setback, a strategic setback for India on different fronts, multiple fronts: diplomatic, military, economic, public diplomacy, soft power, etc., whatever. Democracy. So new questions have arisen about India's role as a net security provider in South Asia and the Indian Ocean, and as a regional policeman, as well as its own policies, internal and domestic policies, which are creating fissures in Indian polity. And of course, it will have actually long-term implications for India's unity. But right now, there's this arrogance, there's this hubris, which is driving Prime Minister Modi and his administration in this, rhetoric and diatribe against Pakistan, although Pakistan has offered a dialogue, peaceful means to settle its disputes with India, and that is logical and that is rational. Our approach is rational. But we find that India's approach is totally irrational, arrogant, and hubristic. And, so much so that we are not sure whether one can rule out, although President Trump has said that, he has counseled Prime Minister Modi not to engage in another war with Pakistan, whether that will sink in, that advice. But the many analysts and scholars are speculating, both in India and Pakistan and, elsewhere, that the ceasefire is fragile and there can be another conflict. What they have done, for example, on the Indus Waters Treaty by suspending. So Prime Minister Modi has actually adopted a very hardline approach, which is not in conformity with what a big country should behavior. All the rest of the countries in South Asia, smaller countries of South Asia, leave aside Pakistan. They are not happy. They are dissatisfied with Indian policies because whatever efforts are made for regional cooperation in the form of BRI, CPAC, or SARC, India sabotages that.
Exactly. Which is why, Masood Saab, I think what I would want to kind of do over here is that, that I'm going to remind my audiences, because I would want you to, in fact, I'm going to request you to stay with us as I'm going to transition from one subject to another, and I would want your insight on that key subject as well. But just to wrap it up, we have seen how, the, statements came in from Afghan Taliban as well, and how, Indian government or the BJP's government was so keen to actually invite the Afghan Taliban foreign minister. And then that was the time where we did see or saw or came across skirmishes alongside our borders. So I think where you have actually mentioned that, leave aside Pakistan and how even the other countries, neighboring countries to India, are very thoughtful of, what sort of trajectory they are taking. I think from within India, we do see this sentiment that their leader or the BJP's government has actually isolated them diplomatically, and that's exactly what has actually happened when Mr. Donald Trump, while he was in his office, said that, that I've told Modi that there shouldn't be any wars with Pakistan, and it's quite a lot of reassurance. Now, in addition to this, moving on to the other region, where, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most developed countries, we're speaking of Japan, the very first female prime minister has taken over. I'm going to transition to that. Go ahead, and then we'll talk about it further. So the Honorable Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi is the nation's first female Prime Minister, protege of the assassinated former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Takaichi received 237 votes in the 465-seat lower house of Parliament on Tuesday. There was a bit of collaboration as well, where victory follows a last-minute coalition deal by her Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, with right-wing Japan Innovation Party, also known as Ishin. But now, government is still 2 seats short of majority, and there's news of stability as well. So I'm going to rein in Mr. MASOOD Saab once again. So first of all, MASOOD Saab, Japan's first ever female prime minister, and they're 2 seats short of majority still. Do you think that it's going to be another unstable government in Japan?
Well, if you look at the history of Japan, LDP has been in power, all along. And they have formed coalitions, they have changed prime minister, and there has been frequent change of prime ministers in Japan. I mean, after 1 year, 2 years, they change, but they elect a party leader from party's ranks. Now, this lady, it's a good sign that a lady prime minister has taken over in Japan for the first time, and shows, gradual empowerment of women in the society, and we should welcome that to that extent. But we have to think of the trends in Japanese politics, and my take is that this lady is, a prodigy of Prime Minister Abe, who was assassinated, and we should not forget that Prime Minister Abe was a conservative who believed in very strong ties with the United States, with India, anti-China, and and he was the pioneer, or he gave the idea of the Squad, which exists, now as a security mechanism to contain China. So we should not forget that background. Secondly, this lady, in his this prime minister, in his very first statement, has talked of deporting the illegal immigrants, number one, and he has also talked about that there's no room in Japan for so-called Islamists. So whatever that means, so we have to be careful. We have a substantial number of Pakistani community in Japan. By and large, they're very law-abiding. They are doing their business and long-time residents there. And in fact, Japan is facing this demographic, deficit. So they are inviting workers from developing countries, including from Pakistan, to come in and help them with their economy. And our people have gone, not as many, I think, but
MASOOD Saab, over here, where you've mentioned about, the sharper move towards the right of immigration and how LDP has actually been in power, post-war as well. Why would you want to kind of shed some light on how the Buddhist-backed Komeito is no more a partner of LDP, saying that they are not ready to fight corruption? Do you see this an issue in Japan where we're speaking about the first female prime minister? There might be more of inclusivity, gender equality, addressing social issues. How do you think they're going to fight corruption? Because Bhutti's back Comieto, which has been a long-hailing partner of LDP, has actually stepped back.
Well, I think we have to wait and see. We should not jump to conclusions. Corruption has been a problem in Japan, in the elite circles, in the political circles, and there have been scandals. So let's see how. But we should look at it from our point of view. From our point of view, we have to be very careful as far as our policy is concerned. If we are sending our people to Japan, they should be fully sensitized of the Japanese culture, of the new political dispensation and political culture there. And then they should be fully equipped in terms of their skills. So they become a valuable asset, and Japanese society and Japanese politicians and LDP accepts that the Pakistanis who are coming to work in Japan, they are good workers, law-abiding, and they are contributing to their economy, and they are productive. So this should be our priority and point of emphasis. And I must make another point that with Japan, we have traditionally enjoyed good relationship. Japan was once the biggest donor for Pakistan in the context of ODA, over development assistance. Of course, that has changed, but we should try to maintain and reinforce our ties, existing friendly ties with Japan, and make an effort that no irritants in the wake of this political change in Japan come up in our relations. So goodwill, friendship towards Japan, and let's see how this Prime Minister follows Japan's policy vis-a-vis China and vis-a-vis India. I think these two trends need to be watched very closely.
Ambassador Masood, you've highlighted all of that perfectly. Now let's speak about more regarding gender equality. Japan actually ranks 118th out of 148 for gender equality in different countries. Do you think this new Prime Minister's role is going to help bridge the gap between this gender-infested bridge that has built up?
Well, Japan is a developed country, highly educated, technologically, of course, third or fourth largest economy in the world, and amazing people, very strong culture. They value their culture, but because being a conservative society traditionally, historically, the role of the women in politics and in government has not been that much in the past. So maybe this is an indicator that is changing, and women are demanding more rights. So this is good, and she has already appointed, I think, 2 or 3 women ministers, including the finance minister, which is a very important portfolio in Japan, being the a large economy, globally recognized economy. So I think that yes, I think she will strive to bring in more women in national mainstream. And this is a good sign. Even in our own country, how can we deprive 50% of our population not being productive? So I'm very happy to see that more, women, ladies are coming forward. You are an example yourself.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masood. Thank you so much for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. Thank you so much for your wonderful insights, into when we speak about the geopolitical and how, the geopolitical situation is changing, how, alhamdulillah, now for the very first time, we're actually witnessing the first ever female prime minister for Japan. And on the other hand, how there's been a lot of reassurance from POTUS that we do not want war with Pakistan. I think it's a great morning to get started with. As of now, I think we're going to head out towards a short break and probably get coffee for Eesha as well. And then, what are we talking about, Eesha, after that?
All right, let's head towards a short break, and then when we come back, we will highlight what we are talking about, and that's going
just pulling her leg. That's it. Very sorry. ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Time now for us to move on towards a bit of sports over here on World This Morning on Pakistan TV. What are we talking about? Well, we'll certainly be talking about Pakistan and South Africa. South Africa touring Pakistan, which is the second test match taking place in Rawalpindi as of now. We've lost 8 wickets, which we shouldn't have, and Pakistan only leads by 35 runs. And it's the 4th day of the play, so there's another day left. And it looks like as if we might lose, probably draw the series. Well, that's the case. Well, this is something that I think Babar Azam scored just another 50 after 2022 scoring a century. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my wonderful partner, who actually loves to speak about sports. She is Miss NATALIA BAQER. Hello, NATALIA. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much. Very good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. Very good morning to you, and I'm feeling absolutely great.
All right, I think that's wonderful. So, NATALIA, what do you make of the day today? Do you think that it's a very crucial inning for Pakistan? It's the second inning, it's the 4th day. What do you make of it?
Well, the only thing I'm happy about right now is that at least Babar Azam hit a 50, and then he went. And we were expecting a better run score from Rizwan as well.
Yeah.
But I think what you said, that it may end up in a draw. That could be a chance.
I
yes.
mean, okay.
Because 34 is a very less lead.
So we'll speak about it, but since you're a guest on our show, even though you're a team member, let's sit first, and then let's unfold this conversation, because Eesha over here has got multiple questions about why Pakistan team didn't do well in this test match, which happens to be the second test match. So Eesha, over to you, please.
All right, NATALIA, please let us know. We saw a stunning performance by the South African tail-enders last night. They scored more than 150 runs altogether. It was a smashing performance.
With Swami and Rabada, right?
Well, I think that South Africa did an amazing job, but also when we see how Pakistan did the innings in the first test match and the second test match, they were doing a great job as well. But now we see a decline. That always happens when Pakistan starts with a lot of motivation and a lot of power and energy, but then gradually with time it comes to a point where we are hoping that Babar Azam makes 50 and doesn't go away before that 50. So I think that we still have a chance. We are playing in a good manner, but I would like to point out Imamul Haq's scores. I don't know why they're so unpredictable. Very wonderful well.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
Yep.
But and also Shan Masood's performance in the whole test, I would like to mention that as well. He has gone for a duck again, and I don't know why does he love that. But there are some improvements that
Abdullah Shafiq.
Yes, Abdullah Shafiq gone for, I guess, 6.
Yeah.
I think that this performance it has come to a decline now, and we need to do a better job when it comes to our top order and the middle order as well.
All right. I think what we really need to kind of build up on over here is that that all of this difficulty is because of this home recipe that we have cooked. That whenever a team will be traveling to Pakistan, we're going to make sure that we make spin tracks, right?
Yes.
And that's something which has actually paid off in Lahore, and we won the first test very comprehensively, and it was very simple and easier for us. But in Rawalpindi, the situation got tricky, and it's because of the the lower order of the South Africa, as Eesha has actually mentioned, Muthuswamy and Rabada, where they actually took the spinners to the cleaners. What do you think, in your suggestion, what do you think the Pakistani bowlers could have done over there?
I think Pakistani bowlers are already doing a good job.
Okay.
Rather than, if you just make a comparison between the batting line and the bowling line, Pakistani bowling line is much better. They're performing well, and they do perform something. And we can predict, a good performance from them. If you say talk about Naman Ali, Sajid Khan, we talk about the other one who took, Asif Afridi, who took 6 wickets. It was a great one. And if you make a comparison between the South African bowlers and Pakistan bowlers, the performance is quite competitive, and it's quite, good, in a good line. So I think that bowling line is doing a good job, but when it comes to batting, we need to, put our focus on it. It's always that I'm always telling Shahzad that the batting line is collapsing, the batting line is not doing good, the top order is not working. Yeah. So it's the same thing again.
And speaking of batting, let's talk about how Babar Azam reached a 49-run score. It was
Finally
almost close to 50, which was back in 2022 when he gathered a 50 home run. So what do you have to say about this? Do you think he can achieve another 50 once again? How realistic are...
He scored a 50.
He scored a 50. That's what we have been talking about. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Eesha.
I think it's a great achievement since
I think
2020.
Babar
This is
Azam
the
is
next
now
time he
making a
has achieved
comeback,
this.
and now he has to make a comeback because it has been a very long period of time that we have not seen him performing the way we used to be. So we think, I think that personally that Babar Azam shall make a good comeback, and we expect, as he has also been included in the World Cup, in the T20 squad and ODI squad as well, which came a little while ago. This news came a little while ago, but I think that Babar Azam, it's time for him to perform.
Exactly. Okay. On the other hand, what would you want to say about Mohammad Rizwan, who's really not been great on the pitch, and just very recently he's been sacked off the one-day international captaincy, and then just yesterday we did see how he actually did miss a run out as well, and it looked like as if that this entire decision has actually taken a toll onto his mental health.
I think the timing for the decision was a bit awkward, and I have seen people talking about it as well, that they're playing in the same team, they're playing in, they're already in pressure, they're playing a test series. So the timing for this decision, to change Rizwan and bring Shaheen Afridi as captain was a bit awkward, but again, that he wasn't performing really well, so I don't think there is a, any train on his performance. It has always been, since some months, past months, it has always been a bad one.
Exactly.
18, 17, 16, 15. That's not the performance we were expecting from Rizwan.
All right. Yeah. And because Natalia has actually mentioned it as of now, I think this is something that I need to look into myself on, whether, the ODI squads and the T20 squads and which players have actually come in, because this is more of a breaking news. So it says key player returns as Pakistan names strong white ball squads. So imagine a host of key players have been named as Pakistan revealed the white ball squads for upcoming home fixtures. Former captain Babar Azam and star bowler Naseem Shah are the big names to return to the T20 international setup, while pacer Haris Rauf is among 3 players included in the ODI squad that will take on South Africa and Sri Lanka. Wow, I think it's a great news. Imagine Babar Azam, Naseem Shah coming back to the squad. That's the news for today, and I think everybody's going to love it. And it's the white ball squads, I hope. So is it just the one-day international? Please confirm that. Or is he in the T20 squad as well?
It's a T20 squad as well, I guess.
Really?
Yes, but I didn't give it a read, but we need to confirm this. But I'm really happy.
I think each one of us, ladies and gentlemen, is really excited for Babar Azam to kind of come back.
This was a very expected comeback, and also that I am happy with the decision that Shaheen Afridi has made been captain. I also expect that, after a little period of time, we will just, give this decision and just pursue this decision of changing the captain for the World Cup series as well. Because I guess Shaheen Afridi is a good captain.
Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the news over here, that Babar Azam actually comes back into the T20 international setup, and we hope that, that he's able to kind of perform wonderfully well. I think we need to kind of give away a breaking news, for all of those Babar Azam fans who are out there. I think it's a great news that we want to see him back in T20 international setup. It's great. But let's speak about Haris Rauf coming back in as well, where we did see how, unfortunately, he was thrashed in 3.4 overs for more than 50 runs in Asia Cup final. I'm sorry. I know that I'm mixing the formats over here, but that's a question I need to ask.
Again, I would say, why not giving it a chance? They have given him a chance. I guess he's in the backup player list right now. Haris Rauf has been joined in the backup list. Maybe he's going to confirm that as well. But
in the ODI squad, Haris Rauf has been brought back in the ODI
squad. So I think there should be a chance. He should be given a chance. Maybe he plays and performs better than what he has performed in Asia Cup.
All right, and you know what? I'm not the only player over here. We've got Eesha as well. So
why
let Eesha be on the batting side now, and I'll be on the running side.
Okay.
So Eesha, please go ahead.
All right, what do you say, Natalia? How, from a cricket test point perspective, how encouraging is it to see Pakistan producing debutants like Asif Afridi, who can score and who can make an impact right away by securing a lot of wickets?
And at the age of 39, you're debuting.
38 or 39, yes. Asif Afridi was the only good thing that I think that has happened in this test match, because other things have been happening, the good score and other things, but Asif Afridi, being giving a debut at the age of 38 and 39, that's quite encouraging, and that's something, a motivation that everybody needs, that there is no age to when it comes to sport, when it comes to inspiration and motivation and passion as well. So at the 6 wickets he took, great, what a great work.
Exactly, it is. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan is at 119 for the loss of 8 wickets on the 4th day of the second test in between Pakistan versus South Africa. Things look really bleak from here on, but it looks like as if the game might slip because the lead's not quite too much as well. I think it's a 30 or 40 runs lead. as of now. But very quickly, Natalia, before we bid you farewell, there are two more things that we would want to kind of share with our audiences. Would you mind doing the honors?
All right, you know, speaking of sports, it's great to see how Pakistan always thrives. Fatma Naseem of Pakistan broke the world records of the most flexible girl at the Liberty Barrows from England. Fatma Naseem reported 47 stretching exercises in 1 minute compared to 42. Guinness World Record has approved Fatma Naseem's 7th world record and updated it on its website. Of the 12-year-old, Fatma Naseem holds a distinction of being the female athlete with the most world records for Pakistan.
Wow, I think that's great. Where I'm going to move back to Noman Ali, where, ladies and gentlemen, imagine Pakistan. Noman Ali has reached the career best position in the ICC Test bowling rankings. Noman Ali had taken 10 wickets in the Lahore Test against South Africa. He's 29 points behind India's Jasprit Bumrah with 853 rating points. Noman Ali has become the 7th Pakistani bowler to cross the 850-point milestone. Shaheen Shafridi has climbed 3 spots to reach 19th position in the best test bowling rankings. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually heading out towards a short break. We're bidding farewell to Miss Natalia BAQER as well. Thank you so much for being with us. And when you will come back, I think, what are we talking about, Eesha?
We are talking about our body's internal rhythm, but we will be catching up with you soon, so take a short break.
Good morning.
Welcome back to all the lovely people who stayed tuned, and you are in for a fun segment to learn more about your body's internal rhythm. This relates to the circadian rhythm in line with the autonomic nervous system. It decides when we will go to sleep, when we will digest our food, and when our body will heal and repair its cells. It sounds like such a fascinating concept, and to shed more light about it, we actually have an expert in our studios today. She happens to be Dr. Shagufta Feroz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, and speaking of the circadian rhythm, for the average people watching, what exactly is it?
Okay, so circadian rhythm is actually a system which is being installed in the body, and it is connected with sunrise and sunset. We don't have any choice because Allah has already designed, by default we are supposed to follow the system of sunrise and sunset. And initially when it was discovered, the scientists thought that there is only one clock in the brain, which is called SCN. But gradually they are discovering that every cell has a clock, or they call it microprocessor, and they are in sync with the major clock or the clock which is in the brain. And every organ, including your heart, brain, pancreas, kidney, adrenal gland, gut even, they follow that rhythm. So we need to be very disciplined.
All right, thank you so much for highlighting that. And on this note, we have got to know how the circadian rhythm works with the autonomic nervous system, right? And they go hand in hand. What happens when they fall out of sync? What causes them to fall out of sync, and what effects does it have on the body?
Okay. So autonomic nervous system is the system of the body which is not under our control. It is involuntary system. So Allah has kept this clock under the autonomic nervous system so that we don't play with this clock. And if we are in discipline, or if we are sync with the clock, we are healthy. Because the timings are exactly fixed in the body, at what time we are supposed to eat, at what time we are supposed to sleep, what is the time when body does detox, when is the time when brain is going to do the detox. It is all fixed, it is predetermined. We can't do anything to it. So anybody following the nature cues, like gets up early in the morning, takes breakfast before 9 in the morning, tries to sleep between 9 and 11, is the person who will be having the best holistic health.
Oh my God, and I feel like this completely explains the whole concept, right? So when you wake up late at night, having late night munchies, you eat food at night, or maybe you skip breakfast in the morning, you're rushing for work. So then that's when your body feels bloated, you feel like your digestion is not in order, you feel lethargic, and that really sums up what you just said. So do you think when you fall out of sync and balance of the circadian rhythm, are we more likely to be engulfed in diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, hypertension?
Yeah, these are the bigger diseases, but before these diseases they start, there is a behavior change. We become very cranky, we become impatient, we become unhappy. So these are the initial symptoms, and then the body will be suffering very commonly from fatigue, lethargy. We will become, sorry to say, we will become a cheater, because we won't be able to cope with the energy in the body, and so we'll try to find loops and holes in our routine to cover ourselves. Yeah, this is true.
Which is why I would want to kind of share over here. Now imagine, so I completely changed the way that I was working earlier, right? You know, so imagine I would go back home, you know, sleep for a while, go to the gym, do rest of my jobs, and then come back home probably late at night and then sleep. So I was getting a 2-3 hour sleep during the day, and then at night I was getting a 3 or 4 hour sleep again. Which certainly did work out for me for the last 10 years. But now all of a sudden I did feel how it's not working out, and you know, so I changed it, you know, so now I wake up at 7 in the morning. I don't sleep throughout the day, but at 9-10 I'm there, done, and I feel a more happier guy. You know, can you tell?
Exactly, I can definitely tell. Shahzad's energy is always on point.
You know, so just for reference for our audiences out there, how it's going to have an impact.
And for females, I would like to emphasize, because females are always interested in their maintaining their aging process and skin. If they follow the rhythm, aging of the skin delays by 20%, by 20 years.
Oh my gosh. So there's no need for Botox and specialized treatments and facials, so you just sleep on time and you will be healthy and radiant. I think that's going to make all the women watching really, really happy. Thank you so much for sharing that advice. But on a more serious note, an issue that I would like to address is that in today's day and age, especially in Pakistan, right? So we have a lot of American-based firms in which young people, fresh graduates are working in. So what they do is that their work starts at 6 p.m. and it ends at 3 a.m. and you're working throughout the night. So do you think they will ever be able to maintain their circadian rhythm following this lifestyle?
No, I won't say something positive, but it's by default the system is there. So because I handle them as a patient also, so I try to maximize their energy input through the nutrient dense food. This is what I try to do, just to preserve their immunity, because that is, they don't have the choice. Especially I've seen the pilots, overseas pilots for international flights, they do suffer, and their aging process is enhanced.
And it is so obvious as well, you know, so certainly I think what we're going to talk about over here is that the conversation circles back to the way that we are living, or our lifestyles as well. And alongside our lifestyle and how we need to kind of fix it, you know, where you give us suggestions to our audiences as well, let us know whether what foods can actually disturb this very rhythm of your life.
More than food, it is the time of the food intake. Suppose you are eating very healthy food, but you are consuming your breakfast in the noon, 12 o'clock. That food will not be a medicine for your body, because you have desynced from the ongoing system in the body. So even like when I am handling kids, I don't stop their junk food. This might sound very bad on this national TV, but when you give wrong food at the right time, the body wisdom is activated. They don't get as harmful effects as they are going to get at the wrong time.
Oh my gosh, I think that
just
speaks
like
volumes.
you ordering food at like
late
2
at
at night.
12 a.m., 2 a.m., not a good
Yeah.
idea. And you know, speaking more about this, as the chairperson of the Pakistan Association for Lifestyle Medicine, you are working to integrate this approach in preventative healthcare. How important is this?
This is very important, because I'm a family physician. So after about 9-10 years of practice, I realized that we cater a sick model of health. We are not bothered about the healthcare model. So then I found this holistic movement in US, and then I started doing my PhDs and American board and everything. Then I started my institute in the university, Rufa, and then this association. So through the platform of this university and association, we are teaching doctors postgraduate courses. We conduct undergrad courses. We are even running courses for the community. Yeah, and we are handling doing advocacy at various forums, because this is very important message for our nation. Pakistan is definitely doing things in many aspects, but in disease, no.
It's not. And we definitely applaud your efforts, because what is actually happening is that we address medical conditions after they develop. But what you are doing, so fascinating and so giving back to society, is that you are working on preventative healthcare, which more people need to work on. And thank you so much for taking these steps. Thank you so much for being here today and enlightening all the audiences of how they could live a more healthy lifestyle.
Thank you, Eesha.
And thank you so much for being here and being a wonderful co-host. With this, we will be wrapping up our segment. Make sure to catch us tomorrow live at 10 a.m.
Inshallah. Until next time, look after yourselves. We are World This Morning, and we want you to have a good day. Bye. Look after.